David, so much. Oh, that's awesome. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
So, is there anybody here who does not know who Oprah Winfrey is? Okay, she's kind of famous. You may know that over the last couple of years, that Oprah has unfortunately gained back all the weight that she worked so hard to take off. Now, I'm sure each of us can feel a great deal of empathy and compassion for that. Haven't we all had something that we just wish we didn't do, a bad habit or an addiction, or just something that we knew was less than good for ourselves? And try as we might, we just kept doing it. Now, it was that we had a great deal of rationalization that we could use. Well, I don't have as much money as Oprah. I can't pay somebody to make me not eat that fourth cupcake. I don't have the advice of all the best self-help gurus and spiritual leaders on the entire planet. How am I supposed to be able to break my bad habit? I don't have the resources that Oprah does. And now, come to find out, with all her money, and with all the advice, and with all the opportunity, even Oprah can't stop herself from breaking a bad habit. She can't help herself get back on track. Man, that's really disheartening. So what's missing here? What is it that is the missing component? It was interesting because Oprah gave an interview in January and she had to admit that a couple of years ago, when she had gotten a diagnosis that she had a thyroid condition, she had the thought, oh wow, now how am I ever going to lose weight again? I might as well give up. I got this thyroid condition. I can't possibly be successful. And so she did. She gave up. And her thoughts created her reality. And she didn't succeed. And she did gain all the way back. And that is how powerful our thoughts are in creating our life. It doesn't matter how much money you have, or advice you get, or opportunities you have. Your thoughts do create the life that you are living right now. Now, in Unity, we know and learned that the Spirit of God lives within each and every one of us. Therefore, we are all inherently good. And we create our life experiences through our way of thinking. So think about that for a moment. Everybody in this room today, you are inherently good. And the Spirit of God lives within you. No exceptions. And if that's true, then maybe we should take a look at what we're saying to ourselves that's creating our current life experiences. Think for a moment about what you say to yourself. How do you motivate yourself when you get up in the morning, or you need to get to work, or you need to take care of the children, or you need to go to school? What are you telling yourself in order to do that? And when you make a mistake, what do you tell yourself? And when you get in conflict with another person, what is it that you're saying about yourself and you're saying about this other person? What do you think about you? Not what you say out loud, not what you say at a cocktail party. What you silently tell yourself every single day. And that is the most powerful tool that we have to work with. And so, if we are inherently good, and the Spirit of God lives within each and every one of us, then each of us should be thinking wonderful, positive thoughts about ourselves. And yet sometimes, let's admit it, we don't. Now, I am the first to admit that this whole God thing is really hard. I know for me, when I have been in the most difficult situations in my life, in those moments, I have really wanted to pray to God. I wanted to be able to have the white knight that would come down and save me from the disaster that was my life at the time. It really seemed comforting to believe that there was some magical person that knew everything, and this magical person could come and help me figure out how to live my life. And yet, if God is all good and everywhere present, then why are we limiting God to the thought of a person outside of ourselves? And one of the other things I was wondering is that because we tend to talk about God and think about God as outside of ourselves, perhaps that is also reinforcing the limitations that we might feel within ourselves. If God's out there, then maybe we are limited. Maybe we are less than. And talking about God out there can reinforce that feeling that there's something wrong with us, that we don't have enough, we don't have what it takes, whatever it is, in order to be able to live the most joyful and peaceful life possible. But imagine for a moment that that's not true. That the Spirit of God lives within you, and that you are innately good, and that you do have everything you need in order to live the most wonderful life you can imagine. And it's not about waiting for your external circumstances to change. External circumstances may come and go, but until you change what's happening inside of you, it won't make a difference. In my case, I kept trying to change husbands, thinking that that would solve my issues in relationships. And it was the most amazing thing. I changed husbands and the same sort of stuff kept coming up. It didn't work. It didn't work to change my external circumstances. I had to change what was happening inside of me. And when I did that, magical things did start to happen. So the other thing that I've realized, and you may have experienced this as well, is that sometimes what looks like the thing to do is really something that you're trying so hard to believe that this is what I want. I see it, I know exactly what it is, and if God will just give me the sign, just tell me, God, I know this is it, I'm thinking it through, this is it, this is what I really want to have happen. And sometimes when we really admit it, that if we can first get in the moment of recognizing and acknowledge what we're really saying to ourselves, and recognize that we are God expressing, then sometimes things come out, ideas and thoughts, opportunities that we would have never considered, that we never thought, well, that was what was going to happen in my life, that that's what I was supposed to do in sort of fulfill my dreams.